Hello and welcome to yet another edition of our video series of Daily Encouragements. My name is Lewis. If you've not joined us before, I tend to make a video, typically with a Bible verse or a Bible story or something to that effect, and try my best to provide encouragement uh, that you can take with you on your day. Today I want to try something different. Um, Honestly, it's intended to have a little bit of humor to it because, to be transparent, it's kind of been a long week. And when it comes to encouragement, sometimes you got to encourage yourself. And so, I don't know if I'm going to make this a current issue, even though depending on when you watch this, it may be some different time. But there's been a lot of change. Whoop, I'm sorry, I'm messing around with my camera and I'm getting blacked out of it. So it's the voice from beyond. Like I said, we're going to have some fun today. But if you've watched any kind of um, media here in the current time of which we are recording this video, you would have realized there was a lot of major changes in the world of sports. In the span of roughly, we'll say, 60 hours, three of the all-time greatest coaches involved in their sports um, had left their teams. Bill Belichick was the coach of the New England Patriots for, I think the number was 24 years. Nick Saban was the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide college football for the last 17 years. And Pete Carroll, who was the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Plus, he had notoriety for success in college football, coaching the Southern California University of Southern Cal Trojans, USC. And the reason why it just kind of stuck with me a little bit was because it was foundational things that were changing. Now, granted, it's sports, so in the overall picture of life, maybe it's not a huge deal, but it is something to think about. Something that was foundational in life changes, and you see, at least in the sports world, how crazy of an impact it has. Um, I am a fan of the New England Patriots as a football team, so obviously that one hits me a little bit more than maybe the other two. But the impact that the other two had cannot be denied. Um, when you look at each of their careers, they each won championships. Pete Carroll being one of the only ones to have done it at the professionals in the NFL with the Seahawks, and to do it at the college level as he did with the Trojans there at USC. There are a couple others who have done it, but the idea that here's this guy that, and by the way, they're all older gentlemen. They're all in their 70s, and um, to have been doing something so long, and to be as successful as they all three have been, and to see that they all leave, it's a huge change. Then what'll be interesting is to see how each of those three those teams, how they do, how are the things different now. As of the time of recording, two of the three jobs have been filled, as New England replaced their coach already, and the University of Alabama has replaced their coach already. Seattle has yet to name a replacement. But the idea behind it is that it's a huge change from what you may have known. Why do I bring that up? Well, you know what? As people get older, as things happen in life, the thing that might have been your foundation changes. And how do you react? How do you decide to act? How do you decide to live? For example, some of the players in college that had been um, committed, they had said they were going to go to the University of Alabama. Once Nick Saban said he was retiring, those players changed their mind. and they go through a process of trying to commit to a different team. I'm not here to criticize that or judge that. That's a sports talk debate that someone else can have. The reason I bring it up is it goes to show that sometimes, changes come. And how do you react when those happen? How do you react when the thing that was foundational to your life changes? See, living down here in the South as I do, I see a lot of Alabama fans. And the question comes up, how are things going to be different? And right now, you're not going to see it. You know when you'll see it? You'll see it after the first game or the second game when maybe they're struggling or maybe they're not performing up to the standard that you as the fan think they should be. Then what'll happen? Oh, we should have never got this guy as coach, or man, we should have never. We should have done this instead. We should have picked somebody different, or we should have picked a different, whatever, and things will change. Same thing with New England. The for those that know sports, we had a quarterback for 20 years on that team, and he left and went to another team and won a Super Bowl at that other with that other team. Meanwhile, the Patriots team had one playoff run, and then they've had horrible records the last couple of years. Honestly, probably two of the worst records that had ever existed under Coach Belichick, which was part of the reason what led to people complaining and saying, yeah, we need a change. We need somebody different. What about you in life? I bring up sports because it's something that's supposed to be a tool that's used for fun, for excitement. But in reality, are how many people use that? It's so foundational for people. My question to you is, what do you do when your foundations are rattled, when the things that you're used to are shaken? See, if you've watched any videos on this channel, you know that my primary audience is to the Christian. Well, what happens when your faith gets pushed? What happens when you feel like, man, this is unfair. This isn't what it should be like. This isn't what it's supposed to be like. What does your faith challenge you to do? What are the things that you show as reactions? Do you stop caring? Do you start doing things that are outside of your character because you're reacting to the fact that now your foundation has changed? What do you do? See, my belief is, for an example, we'll pick the sports one. I grew up as a Patriots fan. I started watching them before Coach Belichick was there and before Tom Brady was their quarterback. And so I was used to watching them struggle and have bad records and all. But I grew to like the team for whatever reason. I'm not telling you that I'm right. I'm not telling you I'm wrong. I'm just telling you what I chose to do. So while they struggled over these last couple of years, I didn't give up my fandom. I just, hey, it's a sport, it's a game, it's intended to be enjoyable. It's not as enjoyable as it was, but hey, we did have success for over 20 years, so this happens sometimes. What do you do as a Christian when the thing that you think you knew was foundational changes? How do you act? Do you still hold true when God holds your feet to the fire to see, do you really trust me? When we look in the Bible, there's a book known as Job. And in that book, it starts off telling us the story of Satan going to try to test someone and saying that, oh, the only reason the Christian believes in you is because everything in his life is good. And God says, well, have you tried my servant Job? And he goes, you know what, go ahead, try it. Take away the things from him. Whatever you do, just don't do. He put a couple restrictions on him. But he says, go ahead, try Job. And the whole book is about how Job deals with that. And the horrible friends he has that are like, just curse God and die. Oh, wait, even family members told him to do that. What about you today? I don't know what struggles you may have. I don't know what difficulties you may be going through. But maybe your foundation has been rattled. Maybe you're facing the first real trial of your life. What do you choose to do? Do you still trust in God, or do you just say, I give up, I quit? Because in that instance, then it doesn't show that you were really showing faith, but instead just wanting to get all the good and not caring about growing and trusting. See, a few days ago we talked about the book of Hebrews, and it talked about by faith and these Christians that showed their faith at these really rough times. What about you today? Like I said, I wanted to keep this a little bit lighthearted as we're talking about sports, but in reality, there's always an application you can make spiritually. So what I ask is, while you're going through whatever difficulty you're going through today, maybe it's health, maybe it's financial, maybe it's relationships, whatever it might be, whatever the struggle is that you're going through, as a Christian, are you giving it over to God, or are you trusting in your own strength? Anywho, that's the challenge for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the video. Hope, and sorry, apparently I'm still disappearing on the video, and there I go. Anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless.